Video games. They always seem to have an impact on everyone's life. They find a way to reach into you and drag you out of the reality of our world. That's what most things do. Books, films, TV shows take you to another world that gives you interest. One of the small ways it does, which is mentioned in films, TVs, but not in games often, is the music. Video game music is also very interesting because it can express different emotions, different tones, or tell a story, or tell about a character. So, with that in mind, I want to discuss some games, 10 in particular, but only 2 of them, I think, or 3 are a series and not just a single game, because I couldn't give them solo. So, with that in mind, this is my top 10 favorite video game soundtracks. Oh, one more thing, spoilers, because some clips will have parts in the game that, well, spoil it. So, you've been warned. Enjoy. The Last of Us is this slow because when it comes to music-wise, I don't really remember much tracks because most of my attention was more so around the gameplay. Doesn't mean the game's bad, and neither is the soundtrack, because there are quite a few moments where it's actually very nice, smoothing in a way. Particularly the intro song, which really is very nice to listen to. However, that doesn't entirely mean that the music is not all bad. The only reason why it's so low is because out of all the game tracks that caught my attention the most and love, this was the least, despite I can admit some of the music is beautiful, because it can give you moments of emotion. Both sadness, curiosity, particularly sadness because it happens in the first 10 minutes.
Move your hands, baby. I know, baby, I know.
Yeah,
Listen to me, I know this.
not something you see every day,
Okay, baby,
the
stay
first
with
10
me.
minutes of a game.
I want to pick you up.
Watching a child bleed to death. Very scared,
Please. I
yeah,
know, baby. I know.
yeah.
Sarah. Baby.
Most people I know are aware that I am very much aware that the state of Cyberpunk is in. It's not exactly a perfect game. But for what it is, the music in Cyberpunk 2077 is kind of mixed, honestly. Because on the one hand, there's some tracks that aren't really the brightest. I mean, if you ask me, the actual music within the game, as in like songs of artists that are in that game universe, are not that good. But it's the fight tracks are pretty nice, especially like with Cryby-ish. And as seen before, Rebel Path, which is the name of this track, is actually quite good. It's Johnny Silverhand's main sort of theme, and when it's playing with doing fighting or anything, it's just a quite good mix. Unfortunately for this, I don't have much to say besides being pretty cool or having a nice little beat to it, but that's just Cyberpunk for you. Most things are either pretty good or mid. So that's the reality of it sometimes, unfortunately. First off, hands down, Battlefield 1 has the best Battlefield theme out of any of the Battlefields. And that is fact. Second, is that Battlefield 1 has a mix of two different kinds of vibes. The bombastic feeling of a battlefield in World War I, and a somber, sad reality of World War I. They can drive so many emotions. Everyone remembers that pigeon sequence. How the music is just beautiful. But with this, we're going to highlight two tracks. Simple, the somber and the bombastic. One you had a small snippet of, and you'll hear soon. A small example of the slow, somber music that gets the emotion welling up within Battlefield is a track called Dawn of a New Time. It plays twice throughout the Battlefield campaign and one time in the main menu, and it's honestly very simple and yet very beautiful. So I'll just let this play out. The music here can be seen as a small reminder, as like, people know that World War I was a very brutal and heartbreaking battle. Millions and millions gave their lives, seeking glory or adventure or for country. And not all of them came back. And those that did, not all of them were the same. None of them were, practically. Make sure to remember that, well, this is a great game, but the only reason that you're still able to have fun is because it's a simulation, and living through it would be hell. But because it's a simulation, it allows for moments like this to feel fucking badass. With both these elements of having the bombastic feeling and the reality feeling of World War I, this makes it even better. Because frankly, with the multiplayer, it makes it more fucking fun. Campaign-wise, everyone knows that Battlefield probably got probably the shittiest campaigns I've ever seen. People say that Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3, all those other campaigns, they suck. They fucking suck. But the war stories in Battlefield 1 are actually pretty good. Very, very good, actually. Battlefield 5's is not good at all, except for The Last Tiger. Point is, though, that's why Battlefield 1's here. Skyrim is one of the most impressive games I have ever played. Graphics, music, game design, everything maxes. And that music, the Dragonborn theme, it fucking slaps hard, my guy. Not to mention that there are other tracks as well that are either just bombastic orchestral to go along with you fighting dragons, zombies, or people, or whatever you want. Unless you want to go fight a giant, but that'll send you to Mars. But it's also got some really nice somber music that, when you're just wandering around in Skyrim, it's really nice to listen to. It's honestly beautiful. No matter if I'm wandering around in the markets of Riften, or scaling a mountainside, riding on horseback through countryside or lands, Skyrim always seems to have some form of music that just makes you feel so relaxed and curious by the world of Elder Scrolls. And that's what really helps get me into these games. Their music can really elevate the scenario and get you right into the fantasy vibe. It's honestly like, it may not be the most memorable in terms of tracks, but whenever I play it, I do enjoy listening to the music in this game. This is simply up here for one simple reason. How fucking peaceful it is. Something about Minecraft's music is just so incredibly addictive that people will continue to come back to it. For the memes, or for the whole fact that just listening to it is just incredibly soothing. Minecraft has many tracks that are just very nice and somber and very beautiful to listen to. It just... I don't know what to say. I'm just going to leave you with a few clips of Minecraft. It's just as simple as that, really. Okay, so re-edit. You can literally do almost anything with the Minecraft music, and you'll just vibe. It's incredibly peaceful, and I love it. Even some drastic things, and I see no change. Far Cry isn't exactly what I'd call the most realistic or story-driven game. This is the kind of games where you can gun down tigers with a deagle and hold a .50 caliber and shoot it all the way with a parachute. And blow everything the fuck up out of everything you see in your sight. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have any story. It does. They're just nothing really special. They never really have been, like, groundbreaking or making you think about decisions. They haven't really. They've been fun, but they haven't made you think. So, why is it number 5? You might ask. Well, for 2 reasons. The soundtracks within their game are mostly memorable, but 2 in particular stand out to me for the sad kind of vibes they give, or somber. 2 in particular, one from Far Cry 3 and one from Far Cry 5. The thing that makes Far Cry 3, we'll start off with, so memorable is this guy. His name is Vaas. Throughout the game, he does an amazing performance, the actor, by the way, and he becomes one of the most recognizable and iconic villains in gaming. Just a few seconds of hearing him talk, and most people will think, that right there is Vaas. The most memorable thing from Vaas is his insanity speech, which I don't have, unfortunately, at the moment. What we do have, though, is an unfortunate feeling through his music, or at least the song that plays when you face him, called I'm Sorry. It's the song that you hear at the beginning, but yet it feels kind of sad or going out and tragic. Because at the start, spoilers by the way, because obviously I said it at the beginning, you lose your brother, Grant, that's it, Grant. And it is saddened because you're lost out there in the jungle, scared as shit. Title card. Here, it's not necessarily being sad, but it's building up and being dramatic, but it can be sad because you're seeing an iconic guy go right downhill. The fact that this music is repeated during this sequence when you fight Vaas, or at least kill him, it's an odd placement, but yet after having so much time with Vaas, you feel so sad. he himself isn't exactly being threatening to you. He's being welcoming and charming to you, as he always has been. And even in the last moments before his death, he proclaimed,
Take me into your heart! Accept me as your savior! Nail me to the fucking cross! And let me be reborn!
Vaas as a character is incredibly unique. He's one of the most interesting interpretations in a game of a psychopath. But yet, he isn't entirely. Because there are moments throughout the game, which I will not spoil because genuinely it's greater to experience it than being told, that you don't know if Vaas really is the villain here, or in fact if it's someone else. And it's tragic. You have to kill off this great character who might not in fact be a bad guy. Entirely. Is this the same case for Far Cry 5? Not really, unfortunately. Far Cry 5's villain, Joseph Seed, unfortunately, isn't as complex as Vaas. Hell no. Is he interesting? Definitely. Joseph Seed is who this man is. An American cultist Christian. Through some incredibly repetitive executions, after some time you finally face Joseph once more. And a tune plays. Which, frankly, I'm not sure it has much meaning besides very obvious, now he's our father, that's the tune, but it sounds beautiful, honestly.
Martyrs of my family. I'm prepared to do the same to yours. But God is watching us. He will judge us on what we choose in this moment.
The clip, or should say the music, is honestly a track that makes you just want to pause and just listen to it. Not commit any of the actions, because you do get a choice at the end, but just listen to it, because the music is honestly beautiful. And it sounds like something of a sad death in a manner, but it's not really. It's just some Christian guy topless giving you a choice to fuck with me in the not literal way, but like metaphorical, because like they're not very friendly to each other, or fuck off. And depending on your choice, the music will continue playing and it'll be nice and nice and nice. Or you can fight and the music stops right there. Either way, I wasn't really sure, but the music overall is just honestly beautiful. Both tracks are very soothing and beautiful. I love them for it. And they're also nostalgic, because Far Cry was one of the games when I was younger that I used to love playing a lot. So this is why it is numero 5. Most people that know me by now know that I am a major fan of Call of Duty. I've played practically every single one of them, and I did or used to own or do every single one of them. One thing that I particularly always found some points interesting is their music, because their main tool setting a tone or going with the scene, making you feel badass, or giving chills, or portraying a sad moment. Now, there's one little small thing that I would like to talk about quickly though. The vibe tracks. There's two that are genuine bops to listen to. Rising Tide, aka the Cold War multiplayer main menu theme, is fucking vibey, my guy. Like, anyone who's listening to this and just vibing or doing anything in the Cold War menus but can't help but bop their head. But of course, you have the classic track that if you were to ask any Black Ops 2 player, they could name it within the second. Again, any Black Ops 2 player will know that when on the main menu, they're getting themselves pumped up with adrenaline. Actually, that's a good point. Even when you're going into the game, you get a small pump up of music. You get that drive of a feeling like, I'm about to go kick some motherfucking ass here. Then you have that badass music that usually, when you're doing a mission, or when you load up in a game, will always be there to guide you, to make shit fucking cool. One of the best things that Call of Duty has going for it are the Zombies Easter egg songs. Lullaby of a Dead Man, Beauty of Annihilation, and 115. My favorites, of course. Beauty of Annihilation, for a start, is honestly got the best opening to a zombie song. Those sweet guitar riffs mixing, and the drum kicking up more and more, gets you pumped for fighting off zombos. Probably my favourite, however, is 115. for two reasons. One, it is overall a bad song, and two, it is the easiest Easter egg I have ever done in my entire life. 3 rocks. That's all you gotta find. 3 locations, 3 rocks, and hold square, then boom. You done it.
Looks like part of the meteor. Here's another one. This has to be the last piece.
Not to mention that the main menu music is actually kind of vibey. Not on the vibe in the sense of like it's I want to pump up, but it's like it's kind of eerie, but yet addicting to listen. Call of Duty is able to give all these emotions of badassery, vibey music, and it really gets you pumping, because Call of Duty overall usually has those moments. I mean, I can't even think of one moment where the music at all makes you feel sad as shit.
Good. That's one less loose end.
I didn't know. Price was projectile. My boys! Red Dead Redemption 2 has to be probably my favourite of the open world and RPG sort of game. It's not as big, probably, as like Bethesda's games in terms of what you can do in it, but Red Dead sure as hell is up there. Its music as well can majorly increase the value of a scene and make it kind of badass, or have a fun vibe to it, relaxing, or to give you a cue that you're supposed to be sad now. Unfortunately, I don't have Red Dead Story, but I'm going to give a few examples of how I mean within online. In fight sequences or shootout sequences, a music track might play to add to the vibe, like here for example. Not to mention the vibey parts, where you're doing something relaxing or just bonding with the character are the best. Why? Because in one of them, you get the vibiest piece of music that I have ever heard. Red Dead Redemption also has the capability of making you emotional within its tracks in terms of memory. For an example, some may see only just a small simple path up to Butcher's Creek at Beaver Hollow, but some fully know what this path is and what it means.
The many miles we walk, the many things we learn.
Red Dead Redemption has tracks that have a beauty to it. The tracks are so smooth or relaxing, or bombastic and badass. Mixing with all this makes a great Western vibe to a great Western game. If you were to ask me, what is the king of musical adrenaline? Doom is fucking number one. The tracks not always have massive meaning. In fact, none of them have any practical meaning, except one. It is your music. You as the Doomslayer are given this music to give you that powerhouse feeling that Doom does. Because you are Doom Guy. You are the most feared and powerful being in the entire universe. Demons piss themselves when they hear you or see you. So this music gives you an encore. So let's talk about 4 tracks. 2 from Doom 2016 and 2 from Doom Eternal. Let's start with Rip and Tear. The song starts with a fast-paced rhythm and it builds up quickly and it just keeps fucking going. And it cuts in and it's badass. Rip or Tear has that kind of magic as it kicks in quickly. Every single Doom track has that level of bombastic, fast-paced, heavy metal that is just orgasmic to listen to. The music in Doom games can be described as the builds and the releases. The builds hype you up and get you ready for the track that's about to bomb in. And the releases get you bopping your head mad or just fucking vibing as you get the full metal release. That is Doom. Let's switch over to Doom Eternal quickly to talk about Meat Hook. So like a show, it's building, building, and then you get that sweet release. Right there again, amazing track. But now we're at the top 2. My second favourite Doom track, which probably has the most electronic out of them all, is BFG Division. The build up here is just class. once again, build up, comes once again to the release. However, those that know by now that the crown jewel of the Doom music goes to the only thing they fear is you. This track builds and subverts twice, which is why I'm going to let it play longer, because the release is even better with it. Orgasmic feeling Doom music can give can be found with just this song. So, without a second of a doubt whatsoever within my mind, Doom is one of the best soundtracks I have ever heard in gaming. The adrenaline pumping feeling it gives you as an encore for You Be the Doom Guy is unlike any other. Which makes you wonder, why is it at number 2? If Doom Eternal is one of my favourite tracks, along with Doom 2016, or should I say Doom overall, then why is that number 2? What could possibly top it? Only one. I know what some of you are thinking. What in the collateral fuck is Metal Gear Rising? Metal Gear Rising is, if you ask me, one of the best spin-off games to a classic game series I've ever played. I'd probably even say so far from the Metal Gear Solid games I've played, it's maybe even better. And the music is fucking genius. It sets the tone, gives you an adrenalinistic rush as you're being a badass, a cyborg ninja, aka Raiden. But it also tells stories. But those stories in particular are telling about character. So, what do I mean by this? Some of the characters in the game aren't exactly given a lot of screen time, but they are given quite a bit so you could get a feel of them, see them, and have a reason to hate them. But the main part of their telling of the story and how they are is their music. Let me just give 3 examples. 3 examples. This will be the longest out of them because I'm going to discuss each of them, or at least discuss a small part. If you want proper explanations to how each of these tracks work, you can find plenty of other YouTubers that explain this really well.
Monsoon of the winds of destruction.
Monsoon is a cool character who, similarly, has a lot of war vibes. He's a war child. So, he's been practically brought up and used in war. So that's the most things that he knows. Besides that, he's got a pretty cool thing. This. So to give context for our big boy Monsoon, he is fighting for this to suit the ideals of one thing. And yes, he does say this.
Means the DNA of the soul.
Unfortunately, we don't really know much about Monsoon besides that he's like Raiden, a child from war. But the music does help a little bit to give us an idea. Some might think, pretty cool song. It's got a nice vibe to it, pretty cool. But then, you pay attention to those lyrics, and you catch something. The track is very simple, but yet, once you pay attention, you catch on. The cold rain is now soothing to him as he's gotten so much used to it. And it will come like a flood of pain. All the pain he endures. And he'll never rest until the clouds are clear. Until his dreams have disappeared. He's come so far being a war child that frankly, he'll just keep on going. And his only thing he's got left now is his memes. The DNA of the soul. Now on to someone else.
Unable to ascertain his motivation.
Jetstream Sam is a Brazilian samurai, and he's a badass samurai. He looks like Markiplier when you look at him, but hey, it's kind of funny actually. So, his motivations, or his reason, are actually kind of unknown, which makes it very interesting to try and figure out what it is. He talks about ideals, but you're not entirely sure about why he's doing this. And the song makes that incredibly perfectly clear.
Let's dance!
it's the exact same scenario here. The music has got badass electronic vibes while you're fighting this guy one-on-one. And then again, you listen, and you realize something. Jetstream Sam doesn't exactly know why he's here, hence the lyrics. Memory's broken, the truth goes unspoken. He's just torn apart, doesn't really know why he's here. He's even forgotten his name. So Jetstream Sam probably isn't even his real name, or from what we know maybe. He doesn't really know what the hell he's doing, or reason why he's doing it. Just standing there holding his blade. A desolate place without any trace. Only the cold wind he feels. The only thing he knows for real is bloodshed. The man in the mirror will nod his head. The only one left mounted upon the dragon's back. Because the mountains don't give back what they take. Oh no, there will be bloodshed. It's the only thing he's ever known. Jetstream Sam at this point is questioning what the hell is he doing here. He doesn't really know what he's doing here. But what he does know is that by the end of this, there will be blood shed.
Come on!
Senator Armstrong. He is the final boss that you face in Metal Gear Rising, and he puts you to the test. Some will probably not really know any of these guys, but for Senator Armstrong, in case you're wondering who he is, this may give a small reminder. However, if you do not recognize, well, he's probably one of the most iconic video game antagonists ever. Despite only having roughly maybe 5 or even 10 minutes of talking or like dialogue with Raiden, aka the protagonist. So, what does the boss battle do? Oh, it tests your fucking strength. And also comes with my favorite of the Metal Gear Rising soundtracks. I can say without a doubt that this is probably the best track out of Metal Gear Rising. Not only is it badass, the final pump up to the entire game, but the meaning of the song, the lyrics as well. It links with both Raiden and Senator Armstrong. The track overall is syncing up with the characters' motives. Both of them are here to end each other's lives, but to also change the future. And it's further proven in the further lyrics that are shown in the song. So standing here, Raiden and Senator Armstrong realize that they are just like them, trying to make history and change it for the better. But who's to judge from the right or wrong? Because both of them have committed bad things in life, really bad things. But when their guard is down, they both agree that violence keeps on bringing violence. But in the end, despite they both share similarities, it has to be this way. They've carved their own path. They've chosen it. They've followed their wrath. But maybe they are both the same. The world has certainly turned, and many have burned, obviously, throughout the story of Metal Gear Solid and Rising. But nobody has to pay. Nobody. Not the innocent nor the bad. Yet, standing across the barren wasteland that they're fighting on, they know that new life will be born beneath the bloodstained sand. If Senator Armstrong lives, he will not be the same. He'll be reborn. If Raiden lives, he will also be reborn. And they know that that'll be the new life. The future of the world will be on their bare hands. So much incredible storytelling from a couple of songs. And feeling like a badass mixing in with those fucking songs. So, out of all the game tracks that I've covered, Metal Gear Rising, if you ask me, is the #1 best video game soundtrack. This is Tristy04. Have a good day or good night, or wherever the hell you are. Have a good day. You get the point.